Hey everyone, this is Chantel McCarthy, and I am the principal here at Truman Elementary School. And today I'm going to talk about some issues that we are having with the school. So, first of all, some things just about Truman Elementary is we consist of 700 students, and it's outside a medium-sized Midwest city. And 15% of the school qualifies for free and reduced lunch. 5% speak a primary language other than English, and that language is typically Spanish. And our state reading scores are low when compared to the Mass state scores. There's a decline in reading scores from grade level to grade level. So I arranged a reading supervisor to visit classrooms in the school and create a reflection on the observations based on those observations with recommendations for instructional improvement. The challenge for me is to organize the school and the district in support of a grant proposal. So some things I need to know is what are the present interventions for reading? In order for myself to start implementing change, I need to know, I need to be able to answer these questions. Number 2, what support will need to be provided for staff, such as professional development, how to differentiate instruction, since the teachers here at Truman Elementary seem to only be utilizing whole group instruction. The entire class typically receives the same skill instruction regardless of performance level. And how do we implement basal reading program using current Common Core standard approach? Or should we implement a new program? Since the reading instruction at Truman is not aligned with recent research on what is effective. So here's our problem. We have no growth shown in reading, or very little. We have a reading program that is not based on effective research. Differentiated instruction is not being utilized. And allotted time for reading is not profitable for student learning. So here are my steps of how I believe we need to approach this. Number 1, let's build a curriculum team. And this curriculum team would consist of designated teachers who are in that field, the district reading supervisor, myself, and if need be, the superintendent as well. We would collaborate about how to have balanced attention between pronunciation skills, reading comprehension, integrated reading and writing. And we would do this by looking at past data on reading and math. We would also design a plan to implement more time and focus on language arts instruction. Last, we would choose a program or revamp the current program that would meet the needs of our students. Number 2, provide professional development for staff. I would include this for my entire staff, not just the reading teachers, just so they don't feel singled out. And I would start this training the days before the school year started. And I would allot time during PLD days for underperforming teachers to get more training over differentiated instruction. And I would allot time for inexperienced teachers to observe experienced teachers. And then the third step I would take is applying for that grant. We need those funds. For the 4th step, I would look at the school schedule and look at possibly revising it. Why would we need to revise it? I believe that, number 1, we need to allot time for collaboration on a regular basis between the reading teachers, so if we could have some common plan. I would also implement some remedial Tier 3 and Tier 2 reading classes. And the last step, the 5th step here, I would inform parents in the PTO. I believe that their opinion should be valued and we should get the opinions of what they think is best for their children. And anybody who wouldn't be able to attend this meeting, I would also send out newsletters for those who couldn't make it. And then last, I would also post this information on our school website. So as far as putting this into practice, so policy number 1, individualized instruction. With the schedule change, like I said before, we will implement classes that address the learning gaps of all students by placing them in tiered classes. For policy number 2, I would make sure adequate professional development time was given with an opportunity for application. And I believe that teachers trained in the new reading program will benefit our students most. And teachers certified in ESOL can help our 5% of student population whose primary language is not English. And by implementing this, hopefully this would also help with differentiated instruction. My last policy here would be implementing department PLC meetings. Again, teachers would collaborate on a weekly basis about student data to guide instruction. And teachers plan units together to provide best instruction that provides balance, again, between the pronunciation skills, integrated reading and writing, and the reading comprehension. So as I was putting this plan together, some thoughts that I thought about is number 1, student learning should come first, should be priority. And I also wanted to ask myself, what can I do to improve our school? And some feelings, I don't know, I just thought, where have I failed? And how can I change to help our school and to help our teachers and improve student learning? And I also thought, I was feeling, how can my teachers improve on their weaknesses? How can I provide an environment where teachers feel like they can take risks and change? And then last, values. I just kept coming back to the thought of everyone's opinion should be valued. Everyone should be included, not just myself, but teachers, community, superintendent, everyone across the board. And hopefully, with this, I would create an environment where the community would trust us and really believe that we have their child's education in mind and first. Some things that need further investigation is the ESSA grant. It's not guaranteed, so what if we don't get this grant? Do we have funds elsewhere? Or is there another grant that we can apply for? Number 2, reception to change. What if teachers aren't willing to change? Change is hard sometimes. And the last one here, the resources needed for teachers to be properly trained. Can we get qualified trainers to support our reading teachers? And again, do we have the funds to do that? So as I was building this case study and my plan, just something to reflect on, how did I act as an agent for continuous improvement by engaging the families and community? Well, number 1, I had immediate response to the letter from the PTO. 2, I devised a plan to address the concerns. We built curriculum teams, provided professional development, applied for the grant, and revised the school schedule. I then acted on those plans. We had implemented individualized instruction, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 classes, and provided adequate professional development, and I implemented the department PLC meetings. And the third example is planned a meeting with PTO and gained their opinions on the school's ideas. And then how did I use data to respond and communicate to the larger community? Well, number 1, newsletters were sent out. Number 2, information was shared through our school website. And 3, planned to meet again a PTO meeting to inform about our plan of how to fix the problems and again gain their opinions about the plans. And then how did I use my knowledge on policies, laws, and regulations? Well, number one, submitted a form for the grant, the Every Student Succeeds Act, on time. And the new curriculum is based on current Common Core standards. And number three, professional development will be given to the entire staff during contract days. Again, I believe that given to the entire staff is a better approach, so no department feels singled out or that they're doing a poor job. And then last, for the ongoing dialogue with decision makers, number one, decisions involve all parties of the school, faculty, principal, community, teachers, superintendents. And number two, and I invited the community members and stakeholders to meetings described in my previous example. And last, shared reflections from teacher professional development with the community. So I hope that this plan follows through and that we see some improvements in those reading scores.